guys, and welcome to a new video on my YouTube channel. Today I will talk about aviation and my job as a flight attendant. A few days ago you asked me a couple of questions on Instagram and I'm going to answer them in this video. The first question is, did you ever get heavy turbulence? When I had really heavy turbulence, the cockpit was informed. They already told us, stop the service, stow everything away, sit down and fasten your seatbelt. So nobody got hurt. I remember one time when we were seated with our seatbelts fastened and we had so heavy turbulence that it felt like a roller coaster. Like, you know, this free fall. Because I always get like butterflies in my stomach when things like this happen and people started screaming. I know this is not funny and many people are scared of turbulence. One colleague broke her leg because she was dashed to the ceiling and fell on the ground because of sudden turbulence. Another colleague told me that the whole cart with food fell on the ground and all the food was on the floor. And this is why you should always fasten your seatbelt when you are seated, because they can happen anytime.
You serious?
Do you get a choice of which flights to go on? Yes, sometimes, because we have a requesting system. You can request a flight or a destination or how many flight hours you want to fly. That's also the reason why it's possible for me to combine a concert with work. With this requesting system, it's much easier to handle your private life. How does jet lag affect you? When I fly short-haul flights within Europe, I don't have any jet lag at all. But when I come back from a US flight with a time difference of 9 hours, for example, like LA and Frankfurt, I sleep a lot. When I'm in a layover, I try to adapt myself to the local time. For example, when we have a night flight from Frankfurt to Hong Kong and we arrive the next day at like 5 p.m, I will stay awake until 11 or 12 p.m. and then I go to bed. Some of my colleagues, they handle it differently. They stay in the German time, so they will sleep the whole day and go clubbing in the night. They don't have a jet lag at all because they lived in the German time and they didn't leave the German time. Is your salary monthly or on service hours? I work part-time, so I fly like 50 hours per month and usually I get a monthly salary, but I can work up to 66 flight hours. Every flight hour between 50 and 66 is paid overtime. Have you ever came or flew to Brazil? If not, would you like? I haven't been there yet, but I haven't been everywhere, but it's on my list. How is COVID-19 in Germany now? Is it safe to fly? The COVID regulations in Germany are eased right now. So there's an institute in Germany that said the chances to get sick from COVID from another passengers are very low. So at least that's what I heard, because of the filters inside an airplane. The air that you get inside an airplane is cleaner than the air outside that you breathe in, and also the air is coming from top to bottom. I feel safe and I didn't get sick yet. How many hours is your maximum in a month? As I mentioned before, I work part-time, so I work between 50 and 66 flight hours. How does dating work when you're traveling so much?
Easy!
It's all a matter of management, how you manage to combine work and your private life. Will you get fired? Another question in German is, machst du dir Sorgen in Bezug auf Stellenabbau infolge der Corona-Krise? If I'm concerned to lose my job because of the COVID pandemic? Of course I'm concerned about the future, what might happen, but at the same time I think there's nothing I can do, so I just need to wait. Right now I still have my job and it wouldn't change the future if I was concerned about the future. I also trust the management of my company and I'm pretty sure they will do everything they can. The only thing that I can do is support my airline mentally and just hope that everything will work out. I just need to be patient and hope for the best.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get in.
Kann ich auch nach meinem Abi direkt als Flugbegleiter arbeiten, denn ich weiß, dass es passt. The person is basically asking me if she can work as a flight attendant right after high school. Of course you can, because this is what I also did. What's the most annoying thing a passenger has ever done?
Run.
When I fly privately, then the most annoying thing is, for example, let's say this is the aisle and here are the seats. Someone is walking along the aisle with a backpack on their back. Okay, let's say this pillow is a passenger's head. And when they turn around, you have to go away with your head because they could hit you. why can't you take your backpack to the front when you walk through the aisle? Please be careful, because you can hurt other people. This is something really annoying. I don't like watching it as a flight attendant because I feel bad for the people who are sitting next to that person, and I also feel bad when I'm sitting there as a passenger and someone won't take care when they turn around. What do you think? What are the most annoying things that passengers do during a flight? Just write it down in the comments. In a flight attendant's point of view, the most annoying thing is when passengers don't respect you and are unfriendly without a reason. Or when they smoke in the lavatories. It's forbidden. Please don't do that. It's dangerous.
Run.
When you will be flying to United States again. Maybe next month, maybe this month, maybe in 2 months. Does it feel weird to not have the same customers every day? Like, doesn't it get lonely? No, it doesn't, because you have your crew. How many hours you sleep on a long haul? Let's say we fly to Tokyo within 10 hours. Then we have the first service, which takes about 3 hours. Do we have an in-between service? I think we don't.
Okay.
So let's say 3 hours for the first service, 2 hours for the second service. After the first service, the flight crew will be split up in 2 teams. The first team can go to bed and the second team is on duty. And then they switch. So we have a total of 2.5 hours for every team to go to bed. On night flights to Hong Kong or Singapore, we usually have 3 hours.
Why the fuck you lying?
Or even more sometimes. How much salary provide? Do you get hit on passengers and pilots a lot? No, I don't. How hard is it to get a job as a pilot? I think the hardest part to become a pilot are the tests that you have to pass when you apply. Have you ever fallen in love with one of the passengers? No. Unrelated. Do you have dirndls? Why not? Yes, I have one. I can show you. Just a second.
Many minutes later.
This is my dirndl. Do you normally fly on the same aircraft or can you swap around? I have the license for the A320 family, which we use for short-haul flights. Then also the license for A330 and 40. And I used to have the license for the A380 last year, but I switched to B747 this year. Do you have to wear your hair in a certain way? I can decide how I want to wear my hair. If I want to tie it up like this, for example, or this wouldn't be good actually because it's still too long, you know. I have to tie it here. People who have shorter hair like this, as long as it won't touch your shoulders, you can wear it loose. Everyone else has to tie it together somehow. How much makeup do you have to wear as part of your uniform? I think my own company isn't as strict as other airlines. For example, the airline that I used to work for before, it was part of the uniform to wear a bright lipstick all the time.
Are you serious?
For example, when you eat something or your lipstick disappears, you have to reapply it again and again all the time. You always have to wear lipstick. In my company, some people use less makeup and some people use more makeup, so it's up to them. Dein bisher längster und dein kürzester Flug war. So the question is, what was my longest and shortest flight? I think my longest flight was to Singapore with a flight time of 13 hours. And my shortest flight was to a German city, to Stuttgart, with 15 or 20 minutes. I can't even remember. I work at the Helsinki airport. Have you ever been here? Yes, I've been to Helsinki like 2 or 3 times. I also had a couple of days off in Helsinki, so yes. Which is your most favorite airline? Of course, it's my own. Wird der A380 bei der Lufthansa wirklich abgestellt? The question is if my airline stops operating the A380. I think everyone knows already that the A380 isn't as profitable as other airplanes.
Are you serious?
So yeah, maybe. How you speak different language with their accent? You mean English? I have a German accent when I speak English. And I speak German fluently and a little bit Japanese, but I'm pretty sure that you can hear my German accent when I speak Japanese.
Bruh.
Which country do you want to visit many times? I already visited them many times, and these are the US and Japan, because I feel comfortable, I get along pretty good, and I'm independent. I can do whatever I like when I'm there. I fly light aircraft, single engine planes. Have you ever flown any yourself? No, I haven't. Do you ever wear stockings when flying, or always pantyhose tights? Usually I wear tights up until my waist because these are the most healthiest.
Okay.
I rather wear ugly tights up until my waist before wearing stockings and risking to get varicose veins. Can somebody mix with flight attendants photos? I think the question is if you can take a picture with a flight attendant. Yes, of course you can ask the flight attendant on your flight if she wants to take a picture with you. But then you have to respect her answer. So if she says yes, then you can take a picture, and if she says no, then please don't. Actually, it's forbidden to take a picture of the flight crew without permission. And when you buy a flight ticket, you agree to the rules, which are also don't take pictures of the flight crew without permission. That's why it annoys me a lot when people try to take pictures of the flight crew without asking. But of course, when a passenger who's nice and kind wants to have a memory with me on his flight and will ask me, hey, can I take a picture with you? Of course I will say yes. Can people from other nationalities apply for your airline? Yes, they can. As long as you have an unrestricted passport, you can apply. How often do passengers try to ask you out on a date? I sense flight attendants get hit on a lot. Is it true? I don't think that it's true, because most times we're too busy. On short-haul flights, for example, it doesn't happen a lot because you don't have the time to talk to passengers. There was one time when a passenger gave me his card and he was really shy. He was like, oh, here's my card, please call me.
Nope.
And then he left. I'm sorry, I never called. And on long-haul flights, usually you can sense when passengers try to get closer to you, and I'm one of the persons who would go back and say, sorry, I'm busy right now, I need to do something else. So no, we don't get hit on a lot. Can flight attendants receive gifts from passengers during a flight? We are not supposed to accept tips from passengers, but gifts? I wouldn't say no to a gift. I received origami from Japanese people several times, and I always keep them because I think they are cute, and I hope that's okay for my airline. Does turbulence affect you while doing your job? Have you been in difficult situations? Yes, of course it affects us, because everything is shaking and it's really hard to pour drinks when everything is shaking.
Nani?
Sometimes it happened that I was scared that my card would hit the passengers next to me, so I was like shaking and holding everything. Our work is always affected by turbulence. Flight turbulence are okay, but as soon as they get moderate or severe, it can be really dangerous, and we stop the service, stow everything away, sit down, because it's also for our own safety. So when will we be flying again, and should I use your airline next time I fly? It's up to you which airline you choose, but of course it's always the best decision to pick my own airline, in my opinion. When did you decide to become a flight attendant? I decided to become a flight attendant when I was at high school. When I was a child, I already wanted to discover the whole world, to see different countries and cultures, and yeah, I was just so interested in the world. My parents never had enough money, so to become a flight attendant was a way for myself to travel the world with less money. So that's why I wanted to become a flight attendant. And I still love my job like on the first day. In case of an emergency, would you sometimes be afraid to make a mistake?
Nope.
In case of an emergency? I don't think so, because on our recurrent trainings, when we have to evacuate the airplane, I'm pretty confident.
Easy.
And the last question is, does your lipstick really need to suit your nail polish? I think it depends on the airline, but in my airline it doesn't. Yeah, so that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed the questions, and if I haven't answered your question yet, then you can also write it down in the comments below, and see you next time. Goodbye!